GarageBand versus Logic Pro versus Cubasis 3 versus BandLab. Which iOS DAW sounds best? Or more specifically, which iOS DAW's instruments sound best? In this video, we're going to find out which of the 4 leading iOS DAW's built-in software instruments sound best. To do that, I'm going to load up MIDI arrangements of some of the best songs on the planet, based on my own personal opinion and whether or not they were available for free. How does this work then? Well, I've downloaded MIDI arrangements of these songs from a site called MIDI. This isn't sponsored by them or anything, they just had the biggest choice available and they didn't try and charge me an arm and a leg to get them. Each of the tracks in these MIDI arrangements correspond to a particular MIDI channel that is assigned to a particular software instrument when imported to a DAW. Not all DAWs interpret these MIDI compositions the same though, and it's the differences between how GarageBand, Logic Pro, Cubasis 3 and BandLab recreate these arrangements that we're interested in here. There was no mixing or tweaking done here either, all I did was bring across the MIDI file into these DAWs and then hit play, with one notable exception. GarageBand has one truly awful brass instrument that just sounds like the horn section from your local school orchestra when out on the lash before playing a big concert.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
It renders any composition brought into GarageBand that uses that one particular horn instrument pretty much unlistenable. So I've changed it out for the basic French horn instrument where applicable. I'll mention it when it happens, but just bear that in mind. Alright, enough yapping. Here's how GarageBand, Logic Pro, Cubasis 3 and BandLab software instrument sounds when recreating Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. So GarageBand fared pretty well there, though I did have to swap out that stupid horn ensemble sound before hitting play. Some of its synthy sounds do get buried a bit by default though, and the guitar sounds do leave a lot to be desired. That carries over to Logic Pro 2. Apple really need to update their software instrument guitar sounds, as they just sound a bit cheap and crap, really. The piano and drum sounds in both Apple-made DAWs are top class though. Cubasis 3 sounds balanced and clear from the outset. I especially like the flute and oboe sounds in the bridge, they are very nice. The drums are a bit flat though, and some of the synth sounds weren't a wee bit wishy-washy to my ear anyway. BandLab though is a real dark horse. The woodwind lead sound is fantastic, all the wind instrument sounds in fact are top notch, and despite lacking a bit of punch in the breakdown bit, I think this might be my favourite version overall. As ever, let me know your thoughts on which of these DAWs managed to recreate this song best down in the comments. Right, next up, let's see how these DAWs fare when recreating Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminal. Not as great a performance this time around from BandLab. That bass sound is just, a little bit off, I think, and the guitar sounds weren't fantastic either, really. The synth sounds in the chorus are really nice though. Again, Cubasis 3 sounds really good, if maybe lacking a bit of punch in that bass sound that kinda drives the song throughout. Having said that, it probably provides the most consistent version of Smooth Criminal out of the 4 DAWs. GarageBand, well, took a little bit of a different approach, really. The synth sound used for the bass line is definitely something, though the guitars do sound a lot better here, probably because they're clean instead of driven. The dreaded brass ensemble instrument sound reared its ugly head again, but for some reason actually it sounded pretty good here, so I just left it in. Logic Pro for iPad, again with those guitars, man. It just makes it sound like that old Moonwalker Mega Drive game, actually. Having said that, the orchestral sounds are nice, but the Mellotron choir sound used for the chorus is a wee bit much. Yeesh. Last up then is Africa by Toto, because of course it is. Let's see how they do. to swap out that daft horn sound again in GarageBand. Ugh.
No!
Apart from that though, GarageBand actually did a really good job. Percussion is great and the different brass and synth sounds work really well together. BandLab once again provides a lovely rendition of this arrangement. Everything here sounds good, the marimba sounds and percussion standing out in particular for me. Cubasis 3's percussion and marimba sounds are also really good, but the French horn sounds used for the lead sounds a wee bit cheap to me, honestly. The pan flute that comes in the second verse is lovely though. And Logic Pro, it's a bit meh again, honestly. While BandLab's instruments have consistently surprised me in every one of these rearrangements, Logic Pro's is kind of the opposite of that and have been quite disappointing, really. Having said that, it does handle Africa the best out of the 3 songs we've tried here. The inclusion of the saxophone sounds are brilliant and the percussion is really good as well. Those guitars just need to get to though. Right, let me know which of the iOS DAWs sounded best to you on each of these songs down below. I guess we'll find out how good a job they did by whether or not I can monetize this video. Probably not. Speaking of which, if you could leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it, and it'll help get this video in front of more people. Cheers.